Today we are making Malido. Let's add the oil to the pot. Then we add the butter, 4 ounces of butter, and let this melt. Once the butter and oil have heated up, you want to add the coarse semolina. So 1 cup of coarse semolina, and you want to saute it till it becomes nice and brown. You want to keep your Bisquick ready. It's a half a cup of Bisquick. I do this over low heat, so it takes a little time, so please be patient. We are making Malido. Malido is a sweet dish usually offered at jasans, prayers. It can be offered as a offering to our Aura Mazda God, or in memory of your dearly departed one. You can also offer it as a Kushalinu at a Kushalinu Jashan, which is done for celebrating a happiness in the family, like a birth of a child, birthdays. Anytime a Dasturji comes and does a jashan in your house, it's a good thing to make Malido to serve to the guests. While the Dasturji is praying, and there's a white sheet spread on the ground, flowers, pomegranates, fruits offered. Along with that, you put this Malido to be prayed over. So it's really a very prayed over food, and it should be made with a lot of care. My Rhoda auntie in Ahmedabad used to say that you have to do it with very clean, pious mind. Usually this Malido was made by the wives of the priests, but staying here in US, the wives of the priests prefer that other people bring it. No offense to the wives, they are busy working, raising up their little kids and all. So I usually like to volunteer and make this Malido for our events. So here we are. It's getting a little nicely. This is coarse semolina. I don't know if you can see it. Yep. And it's slowly getting creamed and browned. You don't want to make it so brown that it looks dark. We're going to add next to this some caramel. So I'm going to make the caramel now on another stove. So the caramel is just made from 2 tablespoons of sugar. We have 1.5 cups of sugar right here, and I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of sugar, heat the pot up, and just let it melt in there to a caramel color. You don't have to stir it. Now keep your water handy to add to it. I've got 1.5 cups of water, So as soon as the sugar becomes a little caramel color, you want to add the water. I've got my Malido going on the other stove. Raise the heat up there. It's still getting nice and brown. So you'll see a little bit of caramelization going on in the pot. Get there. You have to watch it very carefully because it changes into burnt sugar very quickly and you'll have a taste of burnt sugar which you want to avoid. So I usually just keep on shaking the pot and watching it. Here, I hope you can see the syrup is already forming. You can smell the burnt, not the burnt, but the caramels smell. It's really nice. There we go. Let's see if I can show you. There we go. There. So you see that running? It's very hot. Do not try to put your fingers inside. I prefer making this caramel at home because it has no additives, no, anything added to make it gooey or running, because you're going to use this right away. It doesn't have to be running like in a honey bottle, which it looks like a bear. It's pretty to have, but not good to eat from. Oop, okay, so there we go. So that's done. So I'm going to shut the stove and put my water. I'm going to put the stove back on and let the water and caramel boil. And here's the Malido getting browned up. You can give the water and sugar a little stir if you don't need to. The sugar is stuck at the bottom. It should come up eventually as it gets warm. There, so now you can see the semolina has become a little more brown. See? And now I'm going to add the Bisquick to it and shut my stove off. This is a quick and easy Malido. There are different ways of making it. Like you make chapatis, rotis, break them up, grind them, and when you grind them, you still get this kind of powdered wheat product, and you add ravo to it anyways. So I find this with the Bisquick a very, very quick and easy way to make Malido. Bisquick has other stuff in it, like a little bit of egg, but you don't have to add eggs to this recipe. So there we go. The water is started to boil. I'm going to keep it going. And next we are going to assemble the Malido. So I'm going to bring the water to a big boil and add it to the Bisquick and raw browned up mixture. There's oil and butter in here. I've got a pinch of salt to add later. I'm going to bring you over to this. I've got my nuts ready. I've got the rest of the sugar, raisins, a little bit of rock salt for the pinch of salt. I have nutmeg, 1 teaspoon. I have cardamom, 1 teaspoon. I have 2 ounces of almonds I ground up in a mixie right now. And I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I use the sugar. We're going to head over and add the sugar. We're going to add the sugar to the boiling water. Again, just everything should get nicely melted out. We are going to add that whole mix, which is caramel colored right now, to the Bisquick and semolina. The pot should be large enough so when you add these two things together, the Bisquick has a reaction and it froths up. So you want a real big large pot. I'm going to leave the fruits, raisins and nuts for later. I'm going to add my vanilla to the caramel. You can either add it to the caramel or you can add it to the semolina and the Bisquick. Either one comes out good. So here we have our water boiling. Yep, almost there. Good cooking takes time and you have to let it do at its own pace. So here we have the semolina, nicely browned, my nutmeg and cardamom and salt. I just want to wait for the water to boil. So this way it will become nice and sticky. At this time you should really have a nice good smell, aroma coming from the Malido. People know, oh, Malido, what's being done? There's a wonderful song done by some teenagers in Mumbai to the tune of Malido. It's really funny because this is something that you have only once in a while and the kids really look forward to having it, especially teenagers. I mean, some people just have about 2 teaspoons. If you are diabetic, this is not good for you. But it's a prayed over food and you should respect it as such and not feel bad about eating it. So I'm going to have my cover ready so I don't have any splatters when I add the sugar. You want to keep this going on a low heat for 5 minutes after the water is added. So there we go. We have our nice Malido browned up. My water has started to boil. I'm going to add it now. And make sure you cover it up right away because of the Bisquick. There we go. So you see that clothing action? That you got to be careful of that right there. So just cover it up and give it a good stir. It should set very quickly because the biscuit is like a pancake mix and it starts cooking up very quickly. There. So you see that the Malido is getting formed. Make sure you stir it up so everything is nicely inside with the sugar syrup. There. Once it's all nicely stirred up, you want to cover it and close the cover. Put it on very low heat, okay, and let it sit there for about 3 minutes on low heat and then shut the stove off. In the meantime now, we're going to fry the almonds and the raisins and get your serving dish ready. So, there we go. I'm going to fry my almonds and raisins in a little bit of butter. Not much, the butter is just to kind of roast the almonds and fluff up the raisins. I like to add my raisins first. So you see the raisins fluff up a little bit soon. Keep your almonds ready and shut the stove off as soon as you add the almonds. Because the butter burns, the almonds burn. You just want a nice roasted flavor. So you see that? They have plumped up. I'm going to add my almonds. I've shut my stove off. And I'm going to actually remove it from the stove even though it's shut off. So I don't want these things to burn. Now in the meantime, our Malido has gotten done. Let's see. Okay. Malido should be nice and done. I'm going to shut the stove. Sometimes you have to just eyeball it and smell it. It looks very good. Here's the product. I'm going to take it out in my serving bowl and garnish it for you. Make sure you don't overcook it or it will get very dry. So here we are. I've taken that Malido out in this bowl. Nice time to taste it. I usually like to taste it before I put the garnish on top. Just to make sure there's enough sugar and it's well cooked. So, let's see. Nice. So there's a Very nice. It's got the perfect balance of salt and sugar. I taste a little bit of, just very pinch of rock salt, but I do taste it. I think the Bisquick and the butter also had some salt. So it's just good enough for me. You can adjust this recipe to your taste. You can always add more sugar if you feel like. I've got cardamom, nutmeg in here, and now I've got my garnish on top, and here we are. Nice Malido for getting prayed over. Oh, I forgot to mention, please visit our website parsicuisine.com, www.parsicuisine.com. We have been doing this since 20 years and we are very proud to keep this Parsi cuisine tradition going in the world. As you may have heard of, the Parsi Zoroastrians are a diminishing minority in India and worldwide. There are about 10,000 only in the United States. There are few in Canada. They're widespread. I believe even Alaska has 2 or 3 couples living there. But at the end of the day, it's like Australia has only 300 Parsis, Zoroastrians. And we have congresses meeting to get together so our reproductive genes can be utilized and our good values spread throughout the world. We are very peace-loving people. We believe in the motto of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, and may righteousness guide you always. Thank you.